I am 103 years old today, and I want to tell you something that nobody tells you when you're young, something I wish someone had grabbed me by the shoulders and said when I was your age. Most people spend their entire lives chasing happiness. They run after it like it's a bus that keeps leaving without them. They say, I'll be happy when I get the job, then I'll be happy when I get the house, then I'll be happy when the kids grow up. Then, one day they wake up, and they are old, and they realize the bus was never coming. They were standing at the wrong stop the whole time. I have buried 3 of my children. I have lost 2 husbands. I have lived through a war, a depression, a pandemic, more than one actually. I have had years where I didn't know if there was going to be food on the table. And I am sitting here right now, at 103 years old, telling you with everything I have left in me, I have had a happy life. Not a perfect life, a happy one. And those are very different things. So stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you took me a century to learn, and I'm going to give it to you in the next few minutes. Don't go anywhere. The most important part, the one thing that changed everything for me, I'm saving for the end. And I promise you, it is not what you expect. I was born in 1922. My father was a farmer. We had very little. Some mornings, breakfast was just bread and water, and we were grateful for it. My mother used to hum while she worked, all day long just humming to herself. As a little girl, I asked her once, Mama, why are you always humming? We don't have anything. And she looked at me and she said, My love, we have this morning, and this morning is something. I didn't understand that then. I thought she was just saying it to make me feel better. But now, after 103 years, I understand it completely. My mother was the wisest person I ever knew, and she never read a single book about happiness in her life. The first secret she gave me without even knowing it is this: learn to live in the day you are actually in. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. I know that sounds simple. People say it all the time. Live in the moment. They put it on coffee mugs. They tattoo it on their arms. But they don't actually do it. They sit at dinner and they are thinking about work. They are lying in bed next to the person they love, and they are scrolling through a phone looking at other people's lives. They are at their child's birthday party, and they are worried about something that might happen next week. I have watched people miss their entire lives this way. Beautiful, full lives missed completely because they were always somewhere else in their head. I am not saying don't plan for the future. Plan. Be responsible. But when the day is here, be in it, fully, like it is all you have, because one day it will be. Now, let me tell you about the loneliest year of my life, because this is the part that leads to the second secret. I was 47 years old. My first husband had just passed. My children were grown and gone. I was living alone in a small apartment, and I remember sitting in my kitchen one afternoon, and the silence was so loud it almost hurt. I thought, is this it? Is this all there is now? I made a decision that day that I think saved my life. I picked up the phone and I called my neighbor Dorothy, who I had barely spoken to in 3 years, even though she lived 12 feet away from me. I said, Dorothy, I made too much soup. Do you want some? She said yes. That was it. That was the whole thing. We had soup together that evening. And then we had soup again the next week. And then she introduced me to her friend Margaret. And Margaret introduced me to her sister. And from that one phone call, that one tiny act of reaching out, I built a whole new world. The second secret is, never let pride or fear stop you from reaching toward another person. So many people are lonely because they are waiting for someone else to make the first move, waiting to be invited, waiting to feel comfortable enough, good enough, ready enough. But connection doesn't wait. Life doesn't wait. You have to reach first, even when it's awkward, especially when it's awkward. I have noticed something across 100 years of watching people. The happiest ones are not the richest, or the most beautiful, or the most successful. The happiest ones always have people. Real people. People they call on a Tuesday afternoon for no reason. People who know their faults and love them anyway. People who will sit with them in a hospital room and not say a single word, and that silence feels like the warmest thing in the world. You can have everything and feel empty. I have seen it. I have known people with enormous houses, empty lives, but you cannot have people real, true people, and feel truly alone. It is simply not possible. Now, I want to tell you about the mistake I made for most of my 40s and 50s, because I think a lot of you are making it right now. I spent almost 20 years trying to be what everyone else needed me to be. A good mother, a good wife, a good daughter, a good neighbor. I was so busy being good for everyone else that I completely forgot to ask myself one simple question. What do I actually want? I want to be clear. I am not talking about selfishness. Taking care of your family, being there for your people, that is one of the greatest joys in life, not a burden. I am talking about something different. I am talking about the part of you that is just you. Not a mother, not a wife, not an employee, just you. I rediscovered that person when I was 58 years old. A friend dragged me to a painting class. I said I was terrible at it. I was terrible at it. My paintings were truly awful. I still have one hanging in my room. It looks like a child painted it after eating too much sugar. But I went back the next week, and the week after that, because for 2 hours on a Wednesday afternoon, I was not anyone's mother, or anyone's wife, or anyone's anything. I was just a woman with a brush in her hand, making something. The third secret is, keep something that is just yours. Something you do not do for anyone else. Something that has no goal, no outcome, no performance. You do it simply because it makes you feel alive. Maybe it is painting terrible pictures like me. Maybe it is walking in the woods. Maybe it is singing badly in your car. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you protect that space, because that space is where you stay yourself. And when you stay yourself, you have so much more to give to everyone else. I also want to say something about hard times, because people sometimes look at me and say, "You've lived so long and you're so happy, you must have had an easy life." And I just laugh, because no, I did not. I lost my son when he was 34 years old. He was healthy and strong, and one morning he was just gone. There is no way to describe that pain. There is no wisdom that makes it smaller. Some grief does not get smaller, it just gets carried differently. But I learned something from surviving the unsurvivable. I learned that suffering and joy are not opposites. They are neighbors. They live in the same house. Some of the most beautiful moments of my life came directly after the darkest ones, because I was awake, truly awake, in a way you can only be when you have felt real pain. The fourth secret is, don't run from the hard things. The hard things are where you find out who you are. The hard things are where real love is tested and proven. The hard things burn away everything that doesn't matter, and what's left, what remains, is what is real. I am not saying seek suffering. I am saying do not be so afraid of it that you live a smaller life just to avoid it. Risk love, even knowing you could lose it. Try the big thing, even knowing you could fail. Say the true thing, even knowing it might hurt. A life lived in fear of pain is one of the most painful lives there is. I have seen it. A half-life. a careful, small, protected half-life. And at the end of it, the regret is far worse than any of the pain that was avoided. Now, I promised you something at the beginning, the one thing, the thing that changed everything. I have thought about this for many years. People ask me all the time, what is the secret? If you had to choose one thing, just one, what would it be? And here it is. Stop waiting to feel grateful and start deciding to be grateful. I know it sounds too simple, but please hear me out. Most people think gratitude is something that happens to you, something you feel when good things come your way. They wait for it like the weather. They say, I'll be grateful when things get better. But that is backwards. That is exactly backwards. The people I have known who were truly, deeply happy, not cheerful, not pretending, but genuinely, quietly, happy in a way that held even in terrible times, every single one of them had this practice. They found every single day something to be grateful for. Not because life was good, sometimes it wasn't, but because they had made a decision. Gratitude is a decision. When I wake up every morning, and at 103, every morning is a gift. The first thing I do before I open my eyes is I say thank you. Just those two words. Thank you for another morning, for the feeling of air in my lungs, for the sound of birds outside, or the rain on the glass, for something. It takes 4 seconds. And it changes everything about the day that follows. Because here is what I have learned. The brain finds what it goes looking for. If you spend your day looking for what is wrong, you will find it. There is always something wrong. But if you spend your day looking for what is good, you will find that too. And there is always something good. That is the whole secret. 103 years and that is it. Not money, not success, not luck or beauty or talent. A decision made every morning before you even get out of bed. Thank you for this morning, for these people, for this life imperfect, difficult, heartbreaking, and magnificent. So here is what I want you to do right now. Not tomorrow, right now, today. Tell one person in your life that you are grateful for them. Not by text if you can, in person, or at least by voice. Just say it plainly. I am glad you are in my life. You have no idea what that might mean to them. You have no idea what that might mean to you. I have been on this earth for 103 years. I have seen empires rise and fall. I have watched the world change in ways I never could have imagined as a little girl humming alongside my mother in the kitchen. And after all of it, the things I remember most are not the events or the achievements or the possessions. They are the moments. The small, ordinary, irreplaceable moments. Soup with Dorothy on a Tuesday evening. My son's laugh. The smell of paint on a Wednesday afternoon. A morning with birds outside my window. That is a life. That is a happy life. You already have everything you need to start.